Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Strategic Feminine here on YouTube. And of course, we like to focus on all things feminine, all things girly, all things womanly in essence. So if you're interested, do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of the video. So I am back, and I have been seeing a lot of pushback as far as the femininity community here on BlackTube. You have a lot of people ruffled with their feathers that we are coming in and becoming a very big niche in the YouTube community. So there has been a response, almost like a propaganda of sorts, of women coming out there telling their side of the situation as far as their dislike for femininity content, and they're explaining in their own ways why it could be harmful. Now, I am not going to take anything away from these women. I do believe that within each and every video, there's a lot of good gems that you can learn. So I won't say that anyone is particularly wrong for their own ideals. What I will say is that they are some of the same issues that we had with other, you know, contents or other waves that were headed by Black women that highly prioritize luxury, soft life, or non struggle. So you see that there's kind of like a yin and yang to being a Black person or a Black woman on YouTube. You have a lot of people who do not want to see the stereotypical Sukihana approach of like Black woman. They don't want to see that as their representation. And that's okay. They deserve to have a space. And then you also have a section of the population who believes that any attempt for women to create, or Black women to create avenues and lanes within production, media cycles, whatever it may be, they believe that if these avenues that people create for themselves are not based in struggle, politic, or overall getting upset or dysregulated, they believe that it's performative. You know what I'm saying? So you say you want feminine Black women to speak for you, but then when we do, you say that we're performing our femininity and that it's toxic. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to get y'all a little bit into the mood. What is the deal? Like, what is femininity doing to you? Why are so many people upset with the femininity content? Now, I'm going to tell y'all my background here as strategic. I grew up my whole life being ultra girly. Ultra girly. It wasn't until I, hung more around what y'all would refer to as Blackistan, where I lost that femininity because it's kind of hard to be feminine and having to protect yourself at the same time. So when you're in low economic standards, socioeconomic standards, there's a lot more crime, a lot more poverty. Even if you're not directly impoverished, you may be going to school with kids who are. So it definitely changes your mindset about a few things. Within that, I also gained my femininity back around high school, because I love those privileges that I got from boys. And I just overall have always been a fashionista. I love fashion till I die. So it just all kind of went into one for me, as well as different women here on YouTube coming on, showing their face or not showing their face, and giving good femininity game specifically for Black women. That was something that I had never seen before. The femininity space is honestly unique in the way that whenever I was younger and trying to look up beauty tutorials and things like that, it was always lighter skinned white women. I wouldn't even say mixed race. It was literally white women who dominated the beauty industry, dominated the femininity coaching industry. They were the face. They would do videos talking about 5 ways to make a guy like you and things like that. That's the only representation me as a woman had to look forward to, even as, just looking for different advice and avenues and things. So the advice is definitely needed, or else there wouldn't be a market for it. And I'm going to say, just with my whole chest, that femininity content for Black women is needed. And if more women, instead of complaining, actually took heed to the content, they would not be complaining about the things that they're complaining about. And they would actually see the joys, even if femininity isn't for you, that it could provide to other women that are also within your community, ladies. It's not just you guys who are living in the BC. Other women have to live here, and sometimes we want to watch other types of content. So I'm going to show you guys your Triggered podcast. I'm going to show you a little bit of other people's videos too of what they had to say about the femininity content, and then I will come back with my commentary.
topic. Now, today I want to talk about the toxicity of hyper-femininity. Now, I'm going to show y'all a clip and I'll be right back.
Keep a different vaccine schedule because our immune systems are better. We're like superheroes. But you know what people don't do for superheroes? Protect them because you can protect yourself. And with Black hyperfemininity, when you see someone as feminine, soft, pretty, in need of protection, you are less likely to dehumanize them. I have been asked, why do I get dolled up to be on camera? It might be one of my downfalls because it makes me less relatable. And I never gave it much thought. I was raised to appear a certain way. And now I know what that is. And I know what that means. For someone who complained about discourse, I sure am doing a lot of discourse.
Now, for context, this creator was talking about how RFK Jr. was saying that Black people should be on a different vaccine schedule because our immune system is stronger. And she was saying that those thoughts that white people and others have about Black people are why Black women should basically strive for hyperfemininity because it will make people more likely to protect us and treat us better. And in my opinion, that is an insane way of thinking. And I just want to make it clear here, I don't have any issues with this creator. I'm just giving my perspective on what she said. And I want to say, did clothing protect these Black men? Look at what they have on. They have on suits and hats. Did Mary Turner's feminine dress, as you see here, and very pregnant belly stop white men from cutting her baby from her womb and unaliving it and her? And it's insane how, some Black women will choose to live in a false reality about their circumstances. Unfortunately, we don't want to be, but we are. Black women, especially Black American women, we're in a bad position. The world knows that we have no protection. The world knows that our men are also a threat to us, and the world is a threat to us as well. And no amount of pink dresses, picture perfect makeup, and bomb hair is going to change that. Anti
Now, I did want to take a moment to come in because she just said a lot within even this. Like, this is a lot to dissect. That was very layered. What she said? First of all, as a Black woman myself, we all share the culture of racism, white supremacy, lynchings, murders, genocide of our Black peoples. We all share that innate. Every last one of us, even down to people that are not in America, we share that. I don't want to say not in America because I have met some quote unquote African peoples who said they never really learned about slavery and things like that. But as part of most of the diaspora sympathizes with racism and this systematic oppression that we face here in America and then all over the other continents and countries around the world. What I can say is no, that didn't stop any of those women or any of those people from unfortunately meeting their demise at the hands of white racism because it was racism. You know what I mean? So I don't believe that you can use femininity to fight racism. I don't think anyone has ever said that you can use femininity to fight racism except for this woman who she's reacting to the clip about. I will say that the woman is a bit misguided in her reasonings for wanting to appear as a feminine woman or wanting to coach other women into being feminine. It seems like she is concerned with the perception of others. But being a strategic woman myself, I cannot tell you with good conscience that there's something inherently wrong with being aware of how you are perceived at any given moment. I will also say that you're not going to be able to change a racist's mind, a colorist's mind, a texturist's mind. That is all I realize is that you cannot change their mind no matter how good of a politic or respectability politic you appeal to. It's never going to be enough for a racist. But that is why it is racism. That is why it is oppression. So we can't fight fire with fire and say that femininity is supposed to fight oppression. That's not the point of oppression. We are supposed to fight oppression with our voices, with our platforms, not the other way around.
Blackness is global, and it applies to Black women and Black men. The dehumanization of the Black woman is already ingrained in society. We are the most ex-trafficked because people perceive that they will get less time harming us because they perceive that we don't have as much value as other women. And they would be wrong, but that is what they think. We are the most unalived race of women in the US. We make up most of the cases of SA and rape at the hands of police.
So at this point, I am going to skip a little further into the video only because y'all know I'm a big affirmation person. I do not believe in saying absolute sentences without, statistics involved and then saying I am and then just saying all the worst things after that. Me personally, the tongue carries everything, life and death. I would urge this creator, even though what you are saying is true, there is a way that you can say it. And I'm not saying that you have to change your message, but I will say include some statistics because when you say I am, and you are putting this out to thousands, 16 or 17,000 black women, you are subconsciously having them regurgitate that back out into the life. I am the most sex trafficked. I am the most abused. You do not want to put that on your audience. That's a lot of stress. I'm feeling stressed even by hearing you right now. And this is why people can't actually learn from, laying it on a little smoother. But I'm going to let her continue on because she is speaking some game, sister. I'm just not liking the I am, statements at the moment.
Whether it's romantic, whether it's familial, whether whatever way it is there, we deserve love, you know? And I just want to say, just because you don't go out in a bonnet and you don't wear pajamas, but you make sure that you beat your face and you got these old timey dresses on and you got the jewelry popping and all of that, and you make sure that your hair is the picture of perfection, and you make sure that you speak in a nice, proper voice, and you make sure you're not too loud now. You're not too loud and you're not too ghetto. I just want to say that that will not protect you from the harm that the world seeks to enact on Black women. It will not. If someone is racist and discriminatory and they hate Black women and they seek to harm you in some shape, form, or fashion, they're going to do that and be that way no matter what. No matter whether you have your bonnet on or whether you have freshly done boho knotless braids down to your waist. It doesn't matter. And it's really just that simple. And my thing is, Black women jumping through hoops that other races of women would never dare to do is wild to me. White.
Now, this is another tactic that I noticed that people bring up with the femininity content. Now, depending on what side you, because first of all, femininity is a niche. All right, there are different layers and flavors of femininity. You have the looks maxings, you have the socioeconomic girlies, you have the relationship girlies, the coaches who want to get you in relationships, the matchmakers. You have when you address femininity, right? You have people that are giving you life strategies as far as working offices, corporate, all types of stuff. So when you're going to address the femininity niche, who are you addressing? You know what I'm saying? Like who I mean, she put this lady in her clip up, but when you come for all of us as a whole, we got to be able to say, "Hey honey, look, most of the tips and tricks that I have picked up throughout my years that I've learned on my own, that even I've given myself, have helped me in my personal life, has made it a little bit easier for me to transition into that successful role. So, if we're talking about you shouldn't be going on a date wearing your bonnet, that is regular advice that most women would give you, and that's not a problem. Non-black women keep themselves in shape and they're very rude about it. There is a Vietnamese creator and she's a little bigger. Like by American standards, she really isn't that big. She's a little fluffy, quote unquote. But in her Vietnamese standards, she's a big, big girl. And they were rude to her about it. And she was really, really skinny. And when I saw her skinny, she looked almost like unhealthy. So other races of women have these same, strict regimens and morals. Other races of women, if you actually peeled back the layers of their femininity, you'll learn a lot of that was dangerous too. I don't want to say Chinese women because I don't know if it was originated in China, so I'll say Asian women. They used to bind their feet, and they bind to their feet because they wanted to appeal to men. They wanted to appeal more dainty, so they would bind their feet so much so that their toes like meshed in with each other. They're mutilating their bodies basically to appeal to their men. So to say that other races of women wouldn't dare to appeal to these femininity, yes, they have, and that's how they've able to maintain their own social power. We have to stop lying to women. If you don't want to get in the game, get in the ring, step your game up, that is completely on to you. But we're not going to sit here and act like it doesn't work. It definitely does work. It definitely has gotten some positive results from the women who are telling you this, and from myself, who's been a consumer and a producer. So I'm not gonna act like the femininity content is just all the way out the way. I really just think most people don't feel like appealing to that, and they don't feel like they're able to be themselves. And I agree, be yourself. If the femininity stuff is not you, the ultra feminine is not you, the sometimes you want to walk outside with a bonnet, girl, I do too. And I will if I need to. You can appeal to your own rules and do both, essentially, is all I'm telling the women to do. Have some balance.
See, women are not going out in this world thinking about if they will be respected when they're out everywhere. Even at restaurants, okay, nice ones that I've seen with workout clothes on, or dirty tennis shoes on, or having messy buns on, or clearly greasy hair that I know from when I was in beauty school that they haven't washed that hair in at least 5, 6, 7 days.
Now, this is where we're going to talk about, and I think this is about it for right now. So, what we're going to talk about is femininity, and then its close ties to overconsumption within Black women. I do believe that it goes without saying that if you want to appeal to this femininity content, it does come with overconsumption and spin in a bag, and then appealing to particular aesthetics. There are other creators who have mentioned that, but I also wanted to say that that is very true. I've also seen some sentiments of femininity coaches that are anti-Black, meaning they have texturist remarks, colorist remarks, or it seems like they're trying to appeal to a colorism or texturism or a featureism, whatever it may be for them. So there is flavors and sectors of the femininity content that do that. Everybody is, of course, different, but I can say that if we're going down to the simple of respectability politics, which most people should just be doing, I don't think you got to get that deep into it, but the simple and most basic of respectability politics, dress for the occasion, understand how to talk to people, understand how to communicate, know how to move and network in rooms that you're familiar in, and always level yourself up. That is the basis of what we are talking about as femininity women. Some of them go into like depth about, not getting dusty men. Some others go into depth about, not having babies before getting married, whatever it is for you, not having a poor husband, whatever it is, that is what we all talk about. But each of those things inherently help women. Back in the day, they always told you, hey, but it was a show called, I don't think it's not my show. It's not a show of my generation. But she said, "You're, of course, you have something to be proud of. You're marrying a man who can afford to take care of you, who can provide for you. That is an accomplishment for women everywhere, not just in Black America. Everywhere is supposedly a type of honor or badge to have a man who is able to pay your way." And only in Black America do we have these like ruffled conversations about Black femininity, the soft life, Black girl and luxury, because a lot of our brothers and sisters, let's being honest, they weren't able to experience that same amount of luxury. They weren't able to experience that same amount of respectability even within their own environments. So they don't understand why we are appealing to it so hard. It makes it seem like us femininity women are trying to be better than other women by saying, hey, don't wear your bonnets outside. We're trying to help you not look absolutely crazy in the wrong scenario. Now I say use balance. So girl, if you go to the gas station, a bonnet is a-okay, but not no dirt dates, lunch, dinner, definitely not a job interview or anything, like not a job, nothing. Okay, that is when we're going to get into dusty category. All of this doesn't make you better or less than. All it does is manipulate your perception to the ones around you. And if the people that you are around are valuable, you would care about it because they would be able to help you get yourself in a more leveled up situation, whether that be close family, friends, whether that be job opportunities and networking. It does matter how you are perceived. Business people all the time worry about their perception. So if you are highly ambitious, this type of stuff is going to sound like child's play. But for certain people, they seem to not be able to like fathom the advice. So I don't get it. But I'm going to show y'all, this has been a conversation that everyone has been talking about. No, it's not just this creator. Here, all everywhere, everyone has an issue with the femininity coaches, the femininity people. Everything that we're saying seems to be against what they're talking about. And people just, and they had the same issue with soft girl life. They had the same issue with black girl and luxury. Don't be mad. Every time there's a trend that doesn't center struggle with monoracial black women being the face, people always have an issue with it while supporting the sexy reds and the Sukihanas that they swear they hate. So Sukihana and Sexy Red can make millions off of their image, but God forbid women on TikTok want to go ahead and make a few dollars by telling women to get their hair done and wear it out in a good style when they're trying to meet and attract men. You guys are flipping your lids. And I just think that's entire, like, we are, as black women, we are too not used to being a complete woman. We are too used to being a hybridal warrior princess that we don't even understand when true princesses come into the room.
Oftentimes in the femininity world and that like toxic environment, they kind of teach you guys to be docile, and that's not feminine. Like what exactly are we teaching young girls to do when we're saying, oh, you want to speak this way, and high value man wouldn't want this and a high value man wouldn't want that. Femininity is not surrounded or founded on the basis of a man. Okay, again, this is your future. This is something that comes naturally to you. This is for you. This is what is going to make you feel fulfilled in your life. So, for you to base what it is to be a feminine woman and to unlock that aspect of yourself on what the male gaze requires is absolutely ridiculous. And that's why I keep telling y'all, stop watching those videos and stop staying on that side of TikTok. Actually, go ahead and do your research and find things that will actually be helpful and
Now, me personally, I like me a good productive girly, a good little productive femininity content, but I agree with her completely. Femininity is not based off of a man. So what a man wants should never be like the basis of why you're doing what makes you feminine. It's supposed to be in you, not on you. You know what I mean? So I completely agree with what this sister is saying. And of course, she is beautiful. And unfortunately, she didn't find any creators that weren't toxic. So she's, staying away from the side of femininity content. But I do think that for the women that want to find men or husbands, it doesn't seem to be rocket science. Like, I don't think it needs a 12 credit course or anything like that. I do believe that is when you're getting into more of the grift side of social media. But every platform has grifters. It just is what it is.
I've said it a million times before and I'm going to say it again. These femininity coaches are lying and they're going to lead you into temptation, which will lead you into evil, which are, you know what I mean? Okay? They're absolutely lying. When you speak on feminine energy, then they would have the audacity to now go and talk on divine femininity and talk about how it's soft and talk about how it's docile and talk about how it is just receptive, just give, and talk about just so much patriarchal rubbish and nonsense. Most of these femininity coaches are highly misogynistic. Yes, like Kevin Samuels, like Red Pill. That's what they are. A lot of them are Red Pill.
See, and I would have loved for her also to name names and point fingers like, girl, who are you talking about? Like, I know who I would consider to be like misogynistic, but like, girl, name names. Because again, like I said, femininity, this is a whole little niche. Like, this is this whole ecosystem. You got the looks maxings, you have everything, so you can't just say all femininity because there's femininity content that doesn't even speak about men as often, you know what I mean? Or they don't center men. That's why there's a decenter men movement within the femininity space too. So yeah, that's also another woman. I keep hearing the word docile. So I'm not sure if they're naturally just quite combative or not agreeable people that they feel like whatever advice they're giving makes them docile. Because when I think docile, I think like neutered, like you have a voice, but it's been nipped. You know what I mean? So I don't understand why they feel that way.
Ladies, the reason you should tap into your feminine energy and have that top 10% frequency activated, well, all about that in my top 10% frequency course. But the reason is because when you show up as your true feminine self on a daily basis, you look the part, you smell the part, you dress up the part, and you show up in your life as the real you, magic happens in your life. You will attract more and more abundance. You're going to attract some real high frequency individuals in your life. Your friendships are going to improve. Your relationships will only improve. And the overall quality of your life experience is going to improve also. This is the biggest reason. People love you more and they respect you more and they adore you more and they give you everything. And your friendships are not going to be mean girl, gossip girl friendships anymore. They're going to be truly aligned, soul aligned, heartfelt, beautiful friendships.
Now, these are the type of affirmations that I like to hear, okay? Up and down my content timeline. And this is why I like femininity content. I love to hear good affirmations. I love to hear somebody speaking life into their audience and then their people. So forgive me when I said, I don't like to hear that I am stuff. Them I am statements are serious to me. So this is what I like to hear. I will say that, of course, you shouldn't have to buy a course to be, your ultra, truest self. When I am, tapping into my femininity bag, like, I mean, the house is clean, the candles is lit, the outfit is on, the Prada perfume is on. When I'm in that mode, I do feel a lot more confident. So I'm able to make those things happen. It doesn't have anything to do with the world or the universe or God dropping something down on your lap. It has everything to do with when you put yourself together every day to win, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna win. You know what I'm saying? When you set yourself up to win, that's all that's going to happen. So that's what I'm thinking about, and that is why I love what this lady said. And I'm going to end it here as far as the femininity content is concerned. Femininity content, femininity coaching, femininity advice that has been around since the dawn of time. Women have always given other women advice on beauty, looks, men, all types of stuff. That's something that we've always been able to bond with other women about. Now, I do believe that the hyper aggressive women, the hyper, abrasive woman may not be able to relate to a femininity content the same way that we here do, but that doesn't mean that femininity content holds less value just because you're not able to absorb it. All it means is that you have something to work on. The same way that I'm naturally a docile person, y'all. So I have to work on speaking up for myself. That is a personal thing that I know that I have to do. So there's nothing wrong with, chewing the meat, spitting out the bones, knowing what you have to work on, but choosing traits that are going to help you be more strategic going forward. So that's how I feel about the hate train against femininity content. Y'all really have been making this a serious, serious thing. And the only thing that screams to me is that y'all don't want feminine Black women to be the face of the community. See, y'all are used to Rasputias and ghetto Black women being able to be everybody's image. So everybody can look good next to that. But when feminine Black women start being the standard for us, when people expect nothing but you to be fit, feminine, and friendly, people are going to start being a little bit upset just because they're not willing to put the work in to appeal to that. And if that is not your jam, your sauce, your applesauce, I get it. You don't have to appeal to nothing you don't want to. But for the women who are getting in the booth, you should just be on the sidelines. I don't understand why people who choose to sit on the sidelines have so much to say about people who are getting in the game. Honey, get in the game if you have so much to say. If you don't want to appeal and if you don't want to elevate, then stay on the sidelines. But while we're in here trying to make a move, shucking and driving and changing the industry, and when we're going out making businesses and trying to like look smacks our way to the top, when we're doing that and we're seeing results, you don't get to talk about those either. So that's how I have to feel. If you have any issues about the femininity channels that are here on YouTube, I suggest that you watch a few. And if you're new to this channel, you can subscribe down below. Subscribe, turn on your push notifications so you're notified anytime that I go live or drop a video like I did here. Thank you so much for choosing to listen to my spill. But until then, I will be back. Thank you so much. This has been the Strategic Feminine here on YouTube. But of course, and as always, please be good people, be holy people, read your word and spread your word. And I'll be back in the next video. Bye.